lane of the lifeguard stand halfway down the pool and just leave it right adjacent to the wall.
How far is the
You can keep it just so it's touching the wall.
Okay.
Just
Because the
corral
concern I
it.
had was, the way I pictured it was that it would be, well,
No.
people playing well like a rubber ducky.
No.
My concern was, it
Correct.
gets into different streams of water.
Yeah.
And for instance, as you know, down at the end of lane 2 and 5, we have jets coming, shooting straight up.
Correct.
And that is sometimes heated water,
Yes.
sometimes not. And you get a big variation.
That's what I was telling
Lifeguards are
lane 2.
trained to drop the thermometer right in between lane 3 and 4 where there's no incoming water affecting it. So that actually takes the real temperature of the real water in the
The
pool.
biggest thing is, the recommendation is that you put it out there in the center of the pool at night when nobody's there. And again, between the 2 lanes, lanes 2 and 5, and see what it does overnight.
Mhm.
And again, see what the temperature is there versus adjacent to the wall through the daily usage period.
Yeah.
How long can you tread water for?
Put a hanger on it.
That the first couple of weeks, and those of you that use the pool a lot, Alan and Tom, the first couple of weeks after shutdown, we had some issues with getting an HVAC system that had just been replaced, restarted. And if you remember, the air temperature was down around 75 degrees. And that causes the water to just go crazy like this, because when you have that much of a differentiation between air and water, you're evaporating a lot. So you have these big jets of fresh water coming in to replace it, and then that causes the thermostat to go, oh, this water's 70 degrees, it's coming in, I need heat. By the time it's heated, that's the day I walked out on the deck and in the 84-degree water, Dr. McDougall here is looking up at me, in here. So, and which is a valid concern at that point. If you're working out like that in 84-degree water, then you're suffering too.
The kids are too, and I think that if people wanted just on this, if you want to look at the records for swimmers out of back quarters, you're not going to find them. Our kids do much better with the cooler water.
I'm sorry if you're looking at records.
At records of kids that are swimming or masters that are swimming. And if they're in anacortes, you've got to go way down the list to find them. Our kids do much better than that.
Competitively,
Yeah.
Federal Way's kept at 78. So by going to 82,
Yeah.
We're already giving up quite a bit for the competitive swimmers.
It's a minute and a half on 1,000.
And 1 degree may not seem like a lot for some people, but when you go from 78 to 82, 1 degree more, that's a lot. It goes from...
The other logistical comment that I have is that by our hand-check thermometers, which we do 4 times a day, for the last couple of weeks, it's been 82 consistently. And it doesn't drop 2 degrees or go up 2 degrees. It's just boom, 82, 82, 82. And, maybe 81 one day, but it's consistent in there. So
Can I ask a question to Tom?
Please?
Would it be better to have the thermometer in one place constantly to check for fluctuations? Because if you put it out in the middle of the pool, which would be good for one reason, at night to see the fluctuations, then it's not comparable to when it's on the side of the pool in the daytime.
I would give it a 48-hour trial on both different parameters.
Yeah, if we could do that or something.
As I say, that's why I said 3 months.
Yeah.
And we can leave it attached to the rung of the lifeguard stand on a regular basis, 24 hours a day. And then after we try it out in the middle of the pool at night and see what the chart shows.
And then
the biggest thing is to see what the duty cycle rate runs, and then how is that water temperature affected by that duty cycle. And the biggest thing, if the duty cycle is not properly set, it might need to be retweaked by Barron's. It might be 79 and 84, and we want to get it down to 80 and 83. But that's we have no historical data, computer data, and I say this will provide it.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor of collecting 3 months of data? That's a good question. Collecting 3 months of data using the aquatic water temperature before making any changes to the pool temperature. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Auditor's investigation. It's in here, we've already had questions about it. The auditor's investigation came back. It's included in our director's report. It's mentioned in new business because of the fact that we self-reported. My question to, and Bill, just real quick, the district will, part of the response to the state auditor's report is we are going to demand full repayment and seek recovery. How are we going to do that, or are we allowed to comment?
I've spoken with our attorney, Honduras' attorney, about that. Obviously, since Honduras is financing him, we would rather Honduras pursue this, but if they decide that's not their business, which I believe they probably will, then we need to contact our local attorney.
So we're waiting to hear back from Honduras to see what they're going to do with this. Okay. Comments, questions, or concerns from the board?
Well, yeah, I can see requesting repayment of $639.49 from the former head coach. I think that's legitimate. I don't think that he's going to have any problem paying that back. I think from what I've heard through the grapevine, that's no brainer for him as an individual. He apparently feels pretty terrible about it. But the recovery was our legal expenses. I think it's going to be a little trickier. But I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know how they would go about doing that. And I guess it stuck with me because it says the district will, and I thought, well, do we need to approve that as commissioners, or is it just something that, because of the state auditor, it's an automatic, or how's that work?
Well, the way I read the recommendation from the state auditor here, we also recommend the district seek recovery of the $639.49 from the former aquatic coach and related investigation cost of $7,818.67 from the former employees and or its insurance bonding company as appropriate. Any compromise or settlement of this claim by the district must be approved in writing by the Attorney General and the state auditor as directed by law. So that statement right there kind of caught me. Any compromise or settlement of this claim by the district must be approved in writing by the Attorney General and the state auditor as directed by state law. So if we choose not to do that, we just have to address it or through Honduras or Nathan Manning, our district's the district's attorney, we would have to write the Attorney General or state auditor and explain to them why we're not going to do that. Right now, with the litigation going on, I think we give Honduras a chance to address this first, and then get with Nathan to go forward. Because either way, we have to. If we choose not to do this, we would have to talk to. We'd have to write the Attorney General and state auditor and explain why we choose not to.
They don't really give us a time frame
No.
to do that. So it sounds like we have time to
Yes.
let the attorneys.
And I guess there are a couple other factors in here about that $7,800. We get Nathan seek that. Obviously, that costs us money as well. But if Honduras seeks it, they're out a ton of money in this whole litigation process already. So I would imagine if Honduras goes after that $7,800, they're going to claim that for themselves. And as Cecil pointed out earlier, that's the taxpayers' money that was paid out for this. So I guess my contention would be that we find a way to, even though it's going to cost us some money to pay Nathan to take the action, that that direction and try to get this money back to the taxpayers.
No.
But we'll wait and see what Endurance says, and we'll think.
And what you might want to, Nathan says too, is to whether it's even feasible.
I would ask Nathan, yeah, I think Kurt's onto something. I think we asked Nathan what it would cost us to reclaim the $7,000 compared to what it would cost us to have Nathan do that. Would his charges oversee the $7,818?
Do we even have a chance of getting that?
Yeah.
And still paying an attorney, so now we have this cost plus the attorney's cost. I'm just saying,
It might be cheaper just to have him write a letter to this Attorney General and State Auditor. So we need to wait and see. And we don't have a time frame, so in that regards, we do have some time.
Would it be possible, if there's a lawsuit against the district, if they were to policy against it?
We can't talk about it. Well,
Executive session.
Not sure I feel comfortable commenting on that.
I would not feel comfortable talking about it.
I'd like to have us, if you're willing to refer this to Honduras, which seems to be a reasonable way since they've been in and all the way along, then I would hope that it would come back to the commission next month so that we can then decide on whatever listen to their advice, because the state is going to be very hard-lined on this. I know the people from the time that they were here, and I know that there's an awful lot of good there, and I'm getting tired of polarizing and killing people across the line because they're enemy. We've got to get together someday. And so I'm much more lenient on this than the whole thing. But I don't know what the limits are. I don't know what's law and what isn't law. But I do know that the people involved did do a lot of good around here to put themselves into it.
Let's get a report back from Endurance in this next one just to see what they're going to do. Maybe
I'll
put it back.
commission report in the meantime.
Please. Budget meeting next. Any other comments, questions, or concerns from the board on the auditor's investigation? No. Thank you. The budget meeting discussion. Whoops. Holy cow. Let's see if I can do this right.
Isn't it supposed to be the second week in November? A week early.
Hold on, Tom. All right. The budget meeting discussion. There is actually going to be a special meeting for the budget meeting, and that is next Friday. Is that
Friday?
Next Friday the 25th, correct?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, Friday the 25th. Yes, sir. There will be a public notification for that through the normal channels. That budget meeting, we will cover specifically the budget. There will be public comment on the format in the meeting. We got I got quite a few comments, positive emails about the need for public comment during the budget discussion for people to come up with, be able to share ideas with the board. Having looked at our federal government being shut down for 2+ weeks on a budget, and all of us, I think, no matter what side of the line we were on, being frustrated and having plenty of suggestions for them, I think it's very appropriate that we, as a local government entity, do the right thing and include the public on that. So our budget discussion meeting will be next Friday at 6 o'clock, right here.
6 p.m.
So please bring any suggestions, comments, questions, or concerns for that.
Quick question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
As I'm providing documentation to the commission, I'll get as much as I can to you tomorrow. I'm going to follow it up with continued revamps of the proposed budget with my assumptions throughout the course of next week. I'll get as much as I can to you tomorrow. But just for focus purposes, is this focused primarily on 2014?
Yes.
Okay. We still have issues in 2013.
Yes, and we will discuss those. And I believe I saw Kurt go, "Whoa!"
Yeah, wait a
Yeah,
second.
so- Yeah.
I want to be able to address that.
Yes. Are there anything specific that you all can think of, the board can think of currently that you would like included in this?
Would you please put the paperwork that you're going to send us on the email in my file here? Because my printer at home is running out of ink with all of this stuff.
Also, put the,
Just put the stuff you were emailing me in hard copy in the
you'll still
file.
get the email, but you just want a hard copy.
I can read it there, but I need to have it out in front of me so I can work on it, you know.
Kurt, you have something?
You get about 100 pages at the library.
Oh, can you really?
You got a library card. I thought I heard something mention that there may be a facilitator involved.
That's under the next one,
Okay.
and I'll get to that in a minute, sir. So that's a very good question, sir.
That'd be good. Yeah, sounds great.
Yep. Anything else on the budget meeting? That's all I have, and that's all I call for. No questions, nothing. All right, way ahead meeting. We need to set a date for this in November. I got very few dates back for November, so I'm going to ask each and every commissioner tonight to please send me 3 dates in November that will work for a way ahead meeting. This is the meeting I was going to have a facilitator with, an outside facilitator to help us facilitate the way ahead meeting. So I'm working that right now, and I will have more for you hopefully by the November 21st meeting. Actually, I will hope to have more for you next week at the budget meeting. How about that? So
3 dates in November.
3 dates in November from everybody, please.
Only got 2.
That's going to be hard.
If you can only give me 2, then you can only give me 2. That's fine. Thank you. I understand. It's going to be a tough month.
Okay. Try our best.
Yep. All right. The other thing we have for new business is the talking about votes in the minutes. So, Steve, did you want to make a motion about that?
Yeah. Actually, I would like to make a motion, in this point for the minutes, that we include the votes of each commission. Unless it is unanimous, and then you can execute.
So we have a motion made to include in the minutes, monthly minutes, the votes of each of the commissioners on any motion unless it's unanimous.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Discussion.
Do the best I can unless I cannot tell the boys.
Yes.
Okay. That's the only problem. So it's only
What you have to you have a roll call vote on that, and what you have to do is he has to give the name, and the person says aye or nay.
Right.
You go down the table all the time.
So we'll require a chair to do a roll.
Yeah, each time.
We'll require a chair to do a roll call vote each time.
And then Kirk gets a clue what name went with which.
Further discussion, Lori?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. All in favor then of the motion for votes in minutes for all names with votes for each minute. Excuse me. Names by votes for each motion in the minutes unless it's unanimous. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
I'm against it.
All in favor except one. Motion passes. All right. Public comment. Further public comment. Do we have anybody else that would like to make last-minute public comment? Thank you. Discussion. Oh, Tom, I didn't see you raise your hand. I
Okay,
apologize.
the one thing, isn't the next month's meeting for November a week early? We were all talking the 21st, but shouldn't it be the 14th or whatever that Thursday would be, the second?
No, what happened
Thursday?
is the October budget, the meeting's going to be up in October, and so that
But you can't approve the budget at a public meeting, or that meeting.
No.
Special.
No.
You have
No,
to
no.
put it the second
and the-
Thursday in November to approve the budget, so it reaches Island County by that time frame to meet their timeline
And
requirement.
that is the
Their
20th.
deadline's December 1st.
Oh, okay, in prior years, we've always had it on the second Thursday of November to meet that requirement. Has that changed now?
Last year, we did it on the 28th of November, actually.
Oh, okay.
We're good. It's a good question, though.
Feedback.
Yep, no, so it's always a good question. Any other further public comment? Discussions from the board members? Ms. Clark?
I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Hoffmeyer?
I'm good.
Mr. McDougall?
time to go.
Mr. Hopper?
I'm good.
I have no further comments. Next meeting will be Thursday, November 21st. Next regular monthly meeting will be Thursday, November 21st at 7 p.m.
and the October 25th, when we're all going to get together again.
Yes, sir. October 25th at 6 p.m. is the budget meeting. That's correct. Special budget. Thank you. All right. Adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a couple seconds. All in favor of adjourning? Mr. McDougall. Roll call vote. I've had a motion that's passed. Mr. McDougall.
Aye.
Ms. Clark.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffmeyer. Mr. Hoffmeyer. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
So you didn't have to call
I
them?
didn't have to, no, I didn't have to call your names.
Paul and
Oh, thank you, sir. This one died halfway.